welcome to Montell's Horizon. Thank you for joining me to share my Chronicles of Candour. Here we go. As you've noticed, I've got a title, Chronicles of Candour. It seems appropriate for what this kind of thing is. It seems right to check in with myself and hear my opinion of my current state, and then I'll go through what I've been going through in my life and some other details to generate a bigger and better picture. So you might be able to help me, perhaps. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to talk on my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Spiritually, I'd say I've been doing pretty well. Feeling quite confident, having finished the Reiki Master course. However, as I say to people, even if you get your dream body or you attain something, you still have to maintain something. So I'd say my practice is always evolving. I'd say it's been a little bit stagnant lately, although it's still pretty adept and does everything it needs to do. But I do know that I'm going to want to vary it a little bit sooner. But my ability to tune in is quite effortless, and yeah, I can achieve quite a lot in that small window of time that I allocate for meditation. But again, I live meditation. Generally in my practice though, or my spiritual harmony, I'm just feeling quite attuned and clear with my own energy, which, you know, is like, it's nothing like that. Because I never had this was never a thing, but now it's like my baseline. So yeah, feeling very empowered in that sense. Emotionally, I'd say I'm having some swings here and there. It's mostly smooth waters, but still my energy tentacles, they get damaged, but I'm all good. Yeah, the swings are mostly self-induced, I would say, where again, I can be hard on myself and just unnecessary old patterns repeat, and then I fall into them because of the familiarity. However, because I'm more often than not in my balance, it's very easy for me to recognize when I'm out of balance. My mental state, someone said to me that I am too logical for my own good sometimes, and I would say that yes, I am really disciplined and sharp right now. I will say there's some mild paranoia and delusion, but these are my symptoms, along with judgment and criticism of myself and others. These are things that, you know, I'm familiar with. They used to get the better of me, but they're things that I have to be aware of. So these are the type of symptoms I'm getting. And short-tempered. The other day, I almost got angry. It was like I started to leak a little bit of angry energy. But I just kind of realized, and I went to a graveyard and meditated. And then I saw another meditator there, and that made me feel really inspired. But again, it's just recognizing those times when I'm out of balance or something challenging me and doing something about it, rather than focusing my attention in a place that I don't want it to go. That's not the action to take or intention. My physical condition, my right shoulder has been playing up a bit. It has been related to my thumb, which I jammed it, or I kind of sprained it while I was training. And yeah, I was going in to grab someone, and I was doing too much. And that's kind of like my life right now. You're doing a bit too much, Montell. And then my body has been sore. Yeah, I need to rest. And I have been resting recently, seeing as it's my birthday week when I'm recording this. And I'm sleeping a lot more than usual. I think my body's like, oh my God, you're resting? Let me get every second out of this. So yeah, I've been resting and it feels good. The more I do as well, life keeps, you know, making it so I can't do things, and now it's getting to the point, if I keep applying myself, it's just going to prolong my injuries or make them chronic, and I do not want that. So yeah, what's been going on then in general, you might be wondering. So at the end of May, went to Love Saves the Day. That was pretty fun. I didn't expect to go, but I gave in to the healthy urge in this case, and yeah, my friends and I, we went, bumped into lots of good people. There was a woman that was not happy with the fact that I was recording for, you know, my life purpose. And yeah, she basically was trying to tell me to delete everything off my camera and just being generally unpleasant, and was calling me a lot of names. I know that she was projecting all of her fears and insecurities on me, but that does not make it any easier for me to be able to tolerate that. However, perhaps she had a lesson to learn and I was the villain in her story. And interestingly, I saw that same woman a week later in a club that I have never been to. It was so synchronic that, yeah, I don't know what the significance is, but it happened. Also, I'm having to be careful of how I balance my full cup of energy and not spill it on people. And by that, I mean not being too righteous in my way of being. You know, I do well for myself and I'm proud of that, but people are at different stages in their life. And yeah, sometimes I can kind of rub it in their face a bit, I won't deny, but I don't mean to do it like that. And yeah, I just have to be aware of that because that might seem distasteful and disencourage people from actually pursuing their path for the example that I'm setting. So just things that I have to be conscious of. I'm aware of the constant subtle flow of thought that goes through my mind. I say that because I was watching some badminton clips that I made. I was watching a slow-mo clip and it's like I didn't even have time to think about that. It's just like a happening, like, you know, how a robot processes things. And I decided, what if I slow down or become sharp enough to be able to actually be aware of those subtle processes? And boy, yeah, I've begun to notice some of the codes that go through my mind in real time. Anyway, I've also been thinking about relationships in general and how some relationships are fated to end before they even start. But the love and relationship continues in a different way moving forward with no sense of loss. And by that, I mean, there's relationships that I've had, like all types of, and I know that I didn't know at the time that they were going to come to an end, but they did have to come to an end at some point. Or, you know, someone might leave this world, you could say. But that doesn't mean that I can't grow in my love for them and have a relationship, but obviously it's going to be different. And I think about that with people that are living and, you know, forming relationships or contracts, you could say. And they are, you know, going to end. They will change one day. And it's made me understand that I can enter into contracts, relationships, agreements, connections with people. And yeah, know that I can give my full and be present. And when that time comes for it to end, I can just let go. I've learned that this is a thing in life that we have to be able to do. Otherwise, the type of person I am, I can get a little bit attached and hurt myself. But yeah, also, I went to Snowdon. You may or may not have seen that. And if you haven't, there will be something where you can go and check that out. The ending of Reiki Master was a beautiful day. We shared gifts and we did like a ritual to close the circle. There was food and I saw some old faces from the Reiki community as well, which was, yeah, really pleasant. Another thing, I have bought tickets to a concert. I'm not going to say which one just yet, but I haven't done that in, I couldn't tell you when, but it just felt right. I wanted to do this. I also updated the psionic analyzer. If you want to know what that is, let me know. I've also created a more structured set of interview questions for the opportunities that I have coming around. I have more of a production procedure. So when I go to film, everything's a lot more straightforward. I have like bags and lists organized, so it's seamless to set myself up in a way. On the 19th of June, I went to Glastonbury. So I didn't go to a party. I went to see the Arcadia Spectacular setup, the big giant spider with the flames. And I had an opportunity to talk with the founders, Pip and Bert. That was really, really rewarding just to hear about themselves and their journey and what goes into actually organizing all of these different groups of people and, you know, making events and things like that happen and how it starts is really fascinating. There will be an interview about that and that will either be out or will be coming very soon. I've also been doing the Q2 report reflection for Mental Horizon and also my life in general. You know, it's good to update the vision board. I never used to do this, but as I've been taking life a lot more seriously, even though I say don't be too serious, it's important to track yourself. It's important to be able to, you know, be clear and detailed on what's been going on and have that trajectory to aim for, but also course correct on the way, which is why I do these things. So yeah, I've got, you know, my next steps for the next couple of months. Basically getting ready to hit the ground running with all of this stuff, which is exciting but also terrifying for the type of person that I am. But it's all good. There's no going back. I'm just going to say this. Playing games of self-love hide and seek with myself. I'll leave that there. On the weekend of the 25th, I went to London for a wedding for a school friend. I went with my good friend Romain, and yeah, that was a great time just to have that space we went to the cinema, and then we went to the wedding, and then we also went to the spa. The David Lloyd gym in Bushey in London is really, really good. Yeah, it was just, I hadn't seen one like that before. So yeah, it's made me decide that I want to see more of them anyway. But yeah, meeting lots of interesting people and also old faces. That was a really lovely weekend. I always like to reiterate and organize my note-taking system, and I've done that again. I always just use Apple Notes, so it's synchronized between all of my devices. And yeah, I just have a really efficient system of collecting my thoughts and being able to take action on them. Otherwise, they just stay as thoughts and never become actions. And then I'm overwhelmed with potential. It's good to have thoughts. That is your power, your potential, but you have to actualize those thoughts for it to feel that, fulfillment and relief of that thought. Anyway, moving forward, to be more specific as well about the things going on in my life. So my main project, Mental Horizon, just producing that a lot more efficiently, and I'm also enjoying it more. Sometimes on camera when I talk, I'm a bit, monotonous, a bit like a robot. And I also say a lot. So practice is important, and I'm going to continue to practice, but I'm also getting ready to make my work visible and yeah, just get into the routine of doing this, and I have been for a while. Regarding my other hobbies, for my self-image, because I like to take care of my self-image, I'm evolving into Diamond Sigma Prime Plasma Energy form. The world isn't going to be ready for when I show up this summer. This is just me having fun with self-image. Also, relationships and dating is capturing more of my attention. However, and that's nothing to do with self-image. However, it is something that I think is an effect of my self-image as well. I'm seeing myself healthier, which means I look like a healthier catch. However, I'm an untamable squid. Anyway, regarding trading, I've cleaned up my playbook so I can actually execute my best trade setups with a lot more confidence. Instead of waiting or sitting and looking for opportunities, I have found what works for me, and I will assess the market for the day that I'm trading and see if my favorite opportunities are going to arise, set an alert, leave it. If it comes in, take the trade, record it, and go about my day. It's just, very simple. I don't put too much effort into trading itself, but setting up myself to trade cost a lot of effort and really tested me and my psychology as a person. But again, I've cleaned up my backtesting data, I've cleared the noise, and I've just refined things to be a lot simpler. With my Spanish, I would say my reading ability is becoming a lot more fluent. There will be things that I put out that are specifically related to Spanish. I'm just becoming a lot more fluent and better at comprehending, and just little steps. My Duolingo streak tomorrow will be 888 days. That is, I'm committed. One might say I have compulsion issues, and one might say I'm disciplined. You decide. Energy work and Reiki. So of course I've finished the master course, which was, one of the greatest investments I've ever made into myself. Despite getting no material objects out of it, although there's a lot of things exchanged, it has enriched the quality of my life in a way that I can hardly describe, but I'm sure you can probably see and feel the person that I've become. And it's not just showing up and doing the work in that sense, like mechanically, it's looking within yourself and getting the most out of that. So the course was very powerful. but deeply uncomfortable. However, my comfort zone is, pretty broad, you could say. But I have had some challenges. I've had challenges with being hard on myself and working too hard, surrendering and letting go. Again, my general symptoms, anger and resentment. And I wrote here, watching people celebrate and enjoy life has been difficult. Again, it's summertime and everyone's out and about doing their thing. I'm spending a lot of time building my future, so I've always got this long-term goal in mind. So a lot of the time I do want to do these short-term gratification things. However, I've experienced that enough to know that that's not fulfilling for me, and I am the one that's being missed out on, not me missing out on anything. Let me remember that. But yeah, the challenges have been typical, nothing that I'm not unfamiliar with. But again, in the spiralic nature of life and the unfolding of creation, we always revisit the lessons that we think we have mastered. We are always changing and growing. It is the circle of life, spiral. But there are some habits and actions that I am proud of. I have been staying in my place of integrity and empowerment where my boundaries are challenged, specifically related to the woman at Love Saves the Day who jumped on my back and basically, harassed me if it was the other way around. However, obviously I held the weight and I had to go ultra boundary enforcement mode. I'm not going to say I was unpleasant, but my kindness filter was little to none, and it was just stating facts. And because I'm still heartfelt even when I do that, there was nothing that they could say. So it just goes to show my strength, and just don't mess with me. Stay out of my way, please. I've also wrote here, passing on the temptation to compete with others. Even when I read that now, that doesn't even make sense, because how would I be in competition with anyone else? However, it just reflects the kind of thoughts that my mind goes through and the ideas that I seem to think are a thing. And I'm not really in competition with anyone than myself. And when I think I'm competing with others, I have probably diverted my attention in a way that is not necessary. But also remembering to have that beginner's mind and always be humble for where I am in life. As mentioned, it can be a bit distasteful when I am saying, look how great I've become. Yeah, it's cool in that, but that will be a big pitfall. And I've done this on the journey where, I've attained a certain degree of enlightenment. What does that even mean? If you can't relate and connect to the person that has no idea what that even is. So having that beginner's mind and keeping my feet on the ground, yet having my awareness in the stars is a challenge of, being a human in this world. But I still show up and I still try, and I always stay focused on the things that will help me live a better quality life and how others can actually benefit from that. But the standout lessons to learn from this window of my life is the fact that I can be kinder and gentler with myself, and I can forgive and remind myself to take it easy in everything that I do. That is where I find my balance, not pushing myself further than necessary. I recognize that as well, where the last couple of days I've been kind of taking my foot off the gas and cruising a little bit, and it seemed to work. That clarity has actually allowed me to have more clearer thought processes. Another standout lesson for me is that I'm a planner and I am good at planning things. I'm a master builder. So it makes sense that I take charge on projects rather than leaving it up to other people and being unhappy with how they do it. I may as well just do it myself, So I'm stepping into a place where, it makes sense for me to just lead, and I like doing that. I relish in that role. Of course, I am the CEO executive of Horizon Conglomerate Inc. I'm spending too much time alone, I think. Now I'm going to share the quote that has actually kept me inspired. I heard this when I was watching an interview. It was 19 Keys. He was being interviewed by someone, and that person asked him, how are you so confident within yourself? I'm paraphrasing. And he said, most people don't even know what to think about themselves. So why worry about what they think of me? And I was just like, a lot of people don't even know what to think. So why would I even care about what anyone else thinks. That was just really refreshing, because yeah, it just relieves that pressure that no one is giving to me other than myself. But of course, as individualized portions of a collective, we need to be aware of others despite our unity. Also, another quote, this came from me: to keep up, you must slow down. Get your head around that. Also, easy choices makes a hard life, and hard choices makes an easy life. And yeah, this is something I've been saying to a lot of people in my life recently. I have lived this, I know this. I was making a lot of easy choices in the past at one point, and my life was pretty hard, unpleasant, suffering. Now, most of my days, I make a lot of hard, difficult choices, the delayed gratification choices, but that makes my every passing moment really easy. So it's picking what you want, really. And yeah, reminding myself of these things is important. Interestingly, the easy choices makes a hard life and hard choices makes an easy life. That quote kind of came up in this book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I've read this before, but I like to reread books. This is just a principle that enables me to live a better quality life. And again, it clearly translates across various sections of life. But right now in my life, I am grateful for the sun and music. It's really been helping me to get into my flow and achieve everything I need to do. It's kind of like creates a vibe, an energy vibe for me to surf on, especially music. So when I'm transitioning between activities, the music helps me to just glide between. And the sun, it's just empowering. It charges my batteries. Also, I like when people notice coincidences around me. It just shows that people are becoming more mindful and less in their head, so they can actually open up and see the things going on around them. My life is pretty synchronistic all the time, so for me it's pretty normal. But when I notice people notice it around me, I'm like, yeah, I like that. They're stepping into the magic. They're stepping onto the pathway of enchantment and wonder that life is for everyone, but it's easy to overlook that aspect. I'm also grateful for the fact that I can feed and nourish my own ascension process. I know how to guide myself. I don't need a teacher. Of course, I still have teachers and I reach out to people, but I can, guide myself. And that's relieving because I can support myself to continue doing my soul work. And of course, I like to be around people, but it also doesn't depend on people for me to do that. However, there might be a challenge or something that I need to work through that does require being around people. So, of course, like I say, as individualized portions of a collective, we need each other to learn certain individual lessons that we can all collectively benefit from. Does that make sense? It definitely makes sense. Also, when people remind me of the things that I overlook within myself, I'm very grateful for that. I have fought many inanimate objects, more than I'd like to discuss right now. However, my hands have been pretty beaten up over the years, and someone reminded me that in the last 18 months, I've healed or helped to heal and use these hands for, really loving purposes. So yeah, that was really, refreshing and helped me to actually see myself in a different light, because sometimes I overlook these things. I forget how, big or how important it is to remember the little things that do count towards everything. I feel like I'm frazzling. Oh my god. What? How long has this been? What? Crazy. We're almost at the end anyway. So important memories for me to note have been Love Saves the Day. Despite the fact that it was pretty annoying at times, it was still good to hang out with my friends. My dad has been working on a project. Watching him work on that in his way and I work on my thing in my way, it's just like different generations, and it's pretty cool. And my relationship is always getting better in that way. Also Snowdon, that was just a really overwhelmingly positive experience. The wedding, that was really wholesome as well. I'm not looking to get married, but I like the vibe and the celebration of all of that. And dressing up, I loved dressing up. Other than that, I've also went to St. Paul's Carnival. there's a reel on my Instagram, and yeah, that was amazing. It's been years since that's been on, and I really enjoyed that, seeing all of the people, seeing my dad with his van there, and just everything that Carnival is about. I love, and I look forward to next year. I think it should honestly be like a 2-day thing, because I didn't even see everything, and if it could be like a Saturday and Sunday, I think that would work a lot better. So whoever sees this, or whoever has power in making that happen, St. Paul's Carnival should be a 2-day thing. Let's go. So recently I have been watching a few things. Discontinued, that was a really good film. I highly recommend it. It's about, I can't even describe. It's not a psychological thriller, but it will be a bit existential when you watch it. I've also been watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds because I like it. I also watched The Flash in London with Romain when we went to the cinema. That was no comment. And I've been watching Fit X Fearless on YouTube, just checking in with my masculine frame and make sure I'm in my full thoroughbred Sigma Prime form. But of course, you know, you gotta keep on top of everything. My immediate forecast tasks are keep producing and get prepared to hit the ground running. You would already see this and know this, but for me, I'm still ready to open the floodgates. Just getting the last little bits before I open up shop. So, before I end the video, please share how you've worked to overcome a challenge in your recent life, or any related insights that you've acquired recently, so we can all enrich each other's lives and learn and grow together. Thank you for listening. Remember to like the video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Follow me on Instagram at Montell's Horizon, and until next time, I leave you with peace of mind and an open heart.